Hey everyone, Corey here, coming in to do the energy update. This one is being recorded for the week of the 5th, November the 5th. And I just remembered it's actually my friend's birthday today. So today is also the election. Now we are reading and feeling and seeing and sensing what is coming through energetically. And it's sometimes it can be very you have to be very aware of not getting tangled up in the human energy and what is happening here and what is happening on earth, and to be in that sense of going from this side to that side. A key element of being able to be present as a channel and as a spiritual healer is to always work from the middle, from the center, to walk in that middle line, to live in the middle. And so that you can observe, it doesn't mean we don't have opinions and thoughts and of our own, but we move all of us aside and allow the messages to come through. It's not about being right or being wrong. It's not about getting into a battle or a war. This is about being able to connect to the presence of the divine and what is out there, and being able to bring that through and allow it to come through in a way that somewhat makes sense, because we have to bring this down to earth and bring it down to earth when it's so divine and the language is so, and when it's light language, it is so um such a high expression, and our words are just not, we don't have the vocabulary that can really truly express this beautiful magic the way that it comes through sometimes. So it's always interesting. It's always an interesting journey. So yesterday I'm like, I need to record this, and that's ego, right? I need to get in there. I need to get this recorded. I need to get this done. And instantly I just heard, well, that means it's not your day. It's not your time, because why would you want to record that today? Why do you want to get that out there today? And so it's today, it's on the 5th instead of on the 4th. So on the day that there is a lot happening on earth and a lot that's happening here, we also have the energy that's happening out there. And things are not always as it seems, and there's always more truth than what you're being fed and what we're seeing. So we're going to connect in here. And the first thing I did was I had to bring up two of my stones. So one of my big stones that I had to bring up was the smoky quartz, and the other one is my Herkimer diamond. And these two have been with me for a very long time. And they came from such a good place when I did get them. And so these are actually both came from, this one is actually from a gentleman in the New York area, and as is this one as well. So there is some big influence, some big energy that is coming around that part of the country, and what is landing in New York and what is happening in New York. And so there is an influence or an influx of energy of light that is being kind of shining a light upon the New York area. And I don't know why New York. I don't know if New York has anything to do with um, being a swing in the election or what that may be. But what I am seeing is that there is a presence of something needing to be surrounded by the powerful light or the powerful love of the divine through the New York area. So whether there is just something that is coming in, or there is a negative influence that is affecting or impacting the New York area, I don't have a full clear picture on it. It blanks out when I go to see it, but they did tell me to bring in these stones. And so this one has been my talisman that travels with me for a long time. And of course, then we have smoky quartz. And so we do have something of a clearing or a healing, something that's going to need to be cleared and healed, or some sort of big effect or something big going down in that whole New York area. Now, whether it's weather, whether it's person, whether it's human influenced, it is something that's coming into the material world. So there is a material world influx of energy, and I see angels like wrapping around somehow the New York area. And so that's one of the clear kind of images of what they are giving me right now. Now, the other thing that's coming up for this week is to be very aware of where often you feel this sense of holding out or holding back, afraid of what someone's going to think, afraid of what others are going to think of you. And so you don't really show up as self, or you don't speak your truth. And you're going to feel the energy almost like a ping through the body of every time that you hold yourself back, or every time you don't say what you need to say, that you're going to be feeling the pings. And what the pings are that you're feeling is this energetic push to step more and more into yourself, because this week, this month is this year, rest of this year is filled with personal empowerment. There is an influence of this personal empowerment energy that is saying that this is the time to really truly step into that personal empowerment, to feel the empowerment, to feel empowered, to feel like it's okay to be you. But who is that you? Who are you bringing forward? Who are you existing as? And so it's also a time of where you may see truth coming out. You may see an influence of real truths coming out and being revealed. Now, as we see this energy, this is also bringing in trying to cover up, trying to hide, trying to go back in and kind of like brush things under the rug, fix things up. And you may find yourself having this fear that you don't know, that you don't recognize, a sense of like an anxiety, a sense of feeling like you need to hide this part of self. But that's the energy. That is something that is a negative aspect of the energy that is influencing, that's keeping the positive at bay. But the movement of this energy is a forceful push that is pushing you to do the hard things, to empower yourself, to do the hard things, to get to that point of where you actually begin to to live your truth, to speak your truth, to be your truth, wherever you are and whatever you're doing, to not to feel as if you need to hide. So there is it feels like it's a little bit of a revolution and evolution energy that is coming in. This week will feel like it is, we've lived a year or we've lived 10 years in 1 year. It's what it feels like. It feels as if we have lived 10 years in 1 year. Now, we're also going to be seeing some really auspicious energy that's coming in that holds this, it's like suspicion. There is this suspicion of things coming in. So why are things happening right now? Why is this happening? Why all of a sudden are we doing this? Why all of a sudden am I feeling this? Or why all of a sudden is this happening? So you may notice people acting out of character, the people you love, like it's out there. So bring that into ourselves. You may notice out of character behavior, out of character actions of people just kind of doing things. It's a weirdness and the oddness of energy that just says, that's not them. And it's because they're being influenced or affected. And what is uncomfortable inside us, what is hiding inside can no longer hide. So it's just like this wormy kind of energy. And it just feels like it's pushing up and out that part of the shadow that needs to come to life. And so, as much as I'm seeing, as much as we're being given the ugliness of the earth right now, of what's happening on earth, it's odd because there's a massive amount of beauty. And so there is this sense of where we have been numb, where we have been shut down, where we have been neglecting to bring to life certain things, that the more that we allow and we open up, the more that we get closer to being able to live our beautiful life. Where we have been just existing is now the more truths we reveal, or the more the pain story comes to the surface and is healed, the more we move into, or the closer we move to living the most beautiful, happiest of lives, and what that happy life will look like, what that beautiful life would look like. And letting go of that competitive kind of energy of where we feel like we have to be the first, we have to be the one, we have to be that person who speaks this. And so there's a messiness that's in this energy, and it's not perfect. It can't be perfected. It's going to be messy. Things appear messy. It's like when we're, dejunking and clearing out all of this energy we have been hoarding. Like when we open up something, we see how much we have hoarded in the corners or in the closets or in our homes, how many things we've just gathered because we've just been living. And it's kind of opening the doors and the windows, and we see everything. And then we start to push out. And we're like, where did all of this come from? Where did I have all of this stored inside? And so it is a massive clearing, a massive healing that's also appearing, that's coming up. And we just kind of begin to shake our heads and look at things to go, how did I get lost in this chaos? How did I get lost in this mess? How did I get lost in this holding on to this, that, if I had to speak that truth right away, it wouldn't have gotten so messy. It wouldn't have gotten so hard. Things wouldn't have gotten so out of hand. If I had to have been honest with myself in the beginning, it wouldn't have been here. Things wouldn't have happened the way it did. Why did I hang on for so long? Why did I make things so difficult? Why was I always in this place? Why was I there? And why did I allow that to happen? And so it's just so many things that, could I not enjoy the company of the people in my life? Because, I see things that I want to enjoy or I want to be a part of something, but yet I have been pushing back. Yet I've been hiding this part of myself. So it's like a big imposter energy. And it's like it's eradicating this imposter that's been living life for you and living overshadowing some of the things that should have been joy in life, some of the things that should have brought us closer to happiness. And this is where we see the rise of of this of this evolution of self. And as we begin an evolution, so no matter what is happening on earth, no matter the right or the wrong, we are still breaking open and we are breaking out and we're moving, we're letting things out. And we're also seeing that high level of how easy it is to get lost in a narrative. One of the key things to really look at is if we were to look at what how sometimes our ego can have such a desire to get our own way that we would go to any extremes and any extent to keep a secret at bay, or to get what we want, or to see the world go the way that makes us comfortable. That the only way that we can be, that I'll be happy, is if everything is my way. If that's the only way we can be happy, you're always going to be miserable, because there is no way for this world to live in the perfection that we create in our mind of what your perfect world would look like. And if we were to look back, and so if you were to look back at some of the versions of yourself that you were happy living until the world told you you were wrong or that was wrong, and you can't live that way no more because it's wrong, but yet you're going against your natural flow, your natural rhythm, your natural knowing, your intuition, your instincts, and you shut it all down and you just allow, because society has these rules and these regulations, but yet you don't want to live inside of a box, but yet you're getting boxed in. Yet you live inside of that because that's what the world is telling you, or that's what the world is saying. You're like, oh, well, that's how things are. So we have to be this way. We have to swing to this way. We have to live this way. We have to be this way. But yet anxiety keeps rising. Yet this sense of anxious energy, I'm speaking spiritual anxiety. Just to be clear, there's a big difference in spiritual language and human and the psychology of that field. This is a spiritual, like spiritual depression. All of these things that shrink our sense of being able to live from our soul, live from our spirit, to be able to trust ourselves and being told the way that you should live, the way that you should be. And that is and that we're kind of coming head on with. And it's almost as if once we can break through this barrier, we're going to be able to breathe. And so there is a breath of fresh air that brings us closer to the beauty, because if we're numbing the most powerful, beautiful pieces and parts of ourselves, if we have allowed the isms and the addictions and the addictive patterns and behaviors and all the things that have taken you away from the people that you really truly love the most, is that, or the life that you've loved the most, or the people, or the the life you love to exist in the most, that when you're in the life you love to exist in, and you are not living as, and you are living with your burdens and your secrets and in fear of what may appear, what may come out, you're never living happy. You're never living truth, even though you're trying to believe there's a happiness to there. So there is this movement of energy that is helping us to break that free of that, to break open from that, to be able to set ourselves free of the things that have become like caps of limitations that have limited us, that keep us not being able to enjoy and celebrate. And nothing like the imposter syndrome of that could bring in the sense of never believing you have done enough, that you are enough, that you have given enough. And so you never celebrate. We never celebrate because we're just moving on to the next thing. You're just moving into the next energy, into the next project, onto the next thing. What else? Because I'm still fighting for that place to be a number one. We are always a number one. We are always supported. We are always seen. We are always enough. And if we can believe that we are enough, then we stop the battle and the climbing over each other to get somewhere. And there is a sense of liberation and freedom that is coming. And all I keep seeing as we're moving through is liberation and freedom, empowerment, liberation and freedom. There is some liberation that's happening in this energy that is bringing together some sort of movement on the earth, and what's coming into earth, and the influence that's coming, that's being pushed into Mother Earth is an anger, it's an aggression. So even the most beautiful people have become, just like happened in like the 2000, like in the year 2020, you're seeing the most beautiful people allow their anger, their egoic self to be so prevalent and powerful, and not being able to sit back and allow themselves to fully embody why we're here, and why we're here during this time, and why we're here to bear witness to this, and why, if we truly had faith and we truly believed, we would know that no matter what appears in front of us, in the end, things will work out the way that they are designed to work out. And things will work as they are meant to work. What is on earth has already been pre-designed. What is already coming in has been pre-designed. It has been set up. There is a setup that is being put into place so that the energy can be moved, so that we can be moved into the next phase, the next journey, the next movement, whatever it is. There is a change. There is this shift that is taking place. And so we are being moved through the energy. And so we are finding ourselves on an energy that's coming in that just says we are being moved back into our return to love. And that return to love starts with self-love. It starts with that sense of freeing the self that has been kind of hidden in the cage. So we are in a massive kind of soul-seeking journey, or a sense of empowerment, a sense of dark night of the soul. It might be a hero's journey, whatever that language is and whatever that looks like. We have the energy right now to be able to use this energy to guide us through that, to ride the waves of this energy, and to be able to see that there is something beautiful in here. There is something powerful in here. And so the powerful force and the powerful movement does speak of the imperfections. And so my why to a Herkimer diamond in the very beginning really was because of it's so discounted, and it's not quite enough, right? It's not quite enough. And so a Herkimer diamond's like, it's not, doesn't have the same value because of a other diamond, because our other diamonds are created in perfection. We find the perfect diamonds, we chisel them to perfection, we put a price on them, they have value, they have they become high priced. Not everyone can afford a real one. They're given as a You know, it's often given as a wedding set, as a commitment. And a Herkimer diamond is imperfection, but it has its own beauty. No one fights over it the same way they fight over a real diamond. No one is out to get the real diamond. This kind of gets discounted. So how much of your imperfect self, or your self that you believe to be not enough, was actually more than enough? Actually, it was something that, if you could just see and value what and who you are as you are, and fall back in love with that. That's what this week gives us, is to find our way back, and find our way back to where we originally started. And you may have to go a long, long way back to really truly find that true self. You may have to go a long way back to remember the essence of the purity of just simply love, and loving each other, or loving people in our lives. Previous to a time before, we were told so many narratives and stories. So I feel like the presence of the divine is bringing in, almost like a smoky quartz. It is dropping in the energy that brings us clarity. It's also cleaning house, cleaning up energy. And it's absorbing. There's a massive absorbing of all of this kind of negative energy that has been. We need the positive, we need the negative. It's how a battery works, right? The positive and negative creates the power that is needed. But all the things that is the junk, which is not negative, it's just junk. It is things that have no life left in it, which is often our stories, our old stories in our mind, in our heads, that we've held on to, the old pains, the old hurts, the past. The past only has the power to be an influence when we bring it to the present, and we give it a new life and a new name. And we have used so much language of the past and brought it forward and given it a new life, and then use the names of the past to bring it forward and create a whole new narrative around it, that it's now present. It's not the past. It is what we are using now, by using the fear tactics. And if fear is what's motivating us, if fear is what's always been motivating you, if the lack of is what's motivating you, you never really ever get closer to living with the beauty and the awe of who we truly are. And so being motivated by faith, being motivated by a knowing right now, is what's most important. You know, this didn't get made in a lab. This didn't get made by man. This is made by nature. And so what makes this any less valuable than anything else? What makes you any less valuable than somebody else? What makes somebody else in your life any less valuable than you? What makes somebody else in your life that you may be seeing all their faults and all their problems, or them as the problem, them as not good enough for you, them as not good enough for anything? But yet that's a judgment. Where did we create that? And they may not be the person for you, but what makes them not enough? What makes them such a less than, right? And so we have this less than and more than. We have this evil and this good. We have this happening, and we have so abused in so many ways that narrative, that energy, and we've propelled and perfected being able to be the influence based on our fear stories in the way that has affected us throughout our lives. When do we begin to end that? And this is the energy that's coming in right now. This is the energy that we have. And so it's doing this to me. So I feel like I have these wheels, and so the angelic realm, who are those wheels. And I feel like those wheels are coming in, and they are like a diamond mine, and they are digging in, and they're digging for the treasures, for us to find that golden thread again, for us to find that light, for us to find that peace for ourselves, to us to find something, then pull those threads and pull back in the beautiful essence of ourselves and pull back up into the most beautiful expression of ourselves. And so, is this our most beautiful expression? Is this our deepest truth? Are we living our most beautiful life? Are we living in our most beautiful life? And this is the week that's going to be bringing revelations to us. It's going to reveal things to ourselves. So when you hear yourself, blah, 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 nattering on about something about yourself or about others, maybe it's time to stop and move into a deeper conversation with self. Why is this the thing that's causing me? Why is this the thing I am so focused on? And why is this the thing that what is it that I really need to look at? What is it that I really need to see? What is it that I really need to focus? Where do I really need to put my focus in my own healing and opening up to clear out the clutter so that we can allow it to be transmuted back to us as something wise, something empowering, something uplifting, something that's good, because there is a powerful influence of uplifting energy. But because we have such an imposter kind of energy, we have such an imitation light that's appearing as real light, that's appearing as this forceful energy, and it's almost like overshadowing the true light, but the light is breaking through. And so because of that, it's a narrative that is playing out, but there is the light coming in. There's a massive shift in energy that's taking place. And there's going to be a lot of people that will have to go through a big healing when all is said and done, when all the ashes fall, when all the things burn away and all the things go. And I see a major burning. I don't know what this is. I see a major. So I don't know if this is some major like riot or some major event, but I see something burning and I see the ashes coming down. Now we also have, as we go into 2025, as we're moving through into the 2025 year that'll be coming up, we do have the rising of the phoenix. So, but things are going to have to, there is this burning, and I see these ashes and the settling and looking back and going, what did we do? Who did we become? And why did we become that? And why is that what has had such an influence? So there is a sense of, being softened, being humbled. So we have this sense of being humbled. We have this sense of the power of humility. And if we can humility is our greatest teacher. And if we can let ourselves stay in the humility long enough to gain the wisdom, we'll learn from those mistakes and what we do. But this energy is, I see rainbows. I'm sorry, but I'm like, I don't see, I do see the things that are nagging at us. I see the imitation light. I see the influence of dark energy, of the negative aspect of what consumes people taking over. I do see that. I do see that image. I do see all that, but I see the divine shaking her heads like, what, why? But I also see then the influence of light coming in. And I see I see it as a spectrum. So I'm seeing the spectrum of light, a prism of light that's coming in and just shining a light upon. And so be aware of be aware of when you are influencing others or someone to kind of hate upon someone or to turn against people. That sense of judgment and that sense of assumption and assuming can lead people into a not good place within themselves and within our world. And we should be aware of that language and behaving that way, because who is it serving and what is it serving to really truly create a narrative and a story that divides us? Got to be careful of that behavior. Yeah. And so this week is about really finding that nugget within ourselves, at the highest expression, the spiritual authority that exists in us, and getting back, climbing up into that spiritual authority and letting that spiritual authority guide us. Our dignity to do the right things for the right reasons often comes from a higher extent, a higher expression of of dignity and being dignified in our words, our language, our conversation, how we treat ourselves, how we treat others, and about, that radical honesty and truth that may have a sting, but it opens things up. It gives opportunity for conversations, and it clears the way so that we can find our way back to love and back to happiness, and we can let the light in, because when we open the doors on the dark, when we turn a light around, and we reveal our deepest secrets, our deepest truths are revealed, and behind all of that is our true joy and happiness. Whatever that looks like, we're on our way to it. I send you so much love. Have a beautiful week, and we will be talking soon. Much love. Bye bye.